Well, guys, man, as this quarterback competition unfolds in Cleveland, man, the Cleveland Browns, the OTAs is off and running. We heard from a lot of people on what they think. They even brought back the infamous quarterback tracker. They even talked about who's ahead in this quarterback competition. Now, we all know it's just a two-horse race between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. A lot of narratives come out about Deshaun Watson being ahead. A lot of people really don't even give Shedeur Sanders a chance, man. This Cleveland media, Cleveland insiders, man, on how they just keep disrespecting Shedeur Sanders is crazy. It goes back to what I've always said. Anybody but Shedeur. We got some things that we want to break down today concerning this quarterback competition on one person from the Cleveland insiders, the Cleveland media, Tony Grossi, how he sits on the fence and he ponders and he gives his opinions about things. But when his opinions are displayed, that goes to show that he just did Shedeur Sanders and he keeps disrespecting Shedeur Sanders at all costs. But we're going to talk about it right after this.
Let me put you on game. These other podcasts out here talking that shit, but ain't repping the same. It's my bro K-Step, chopping up topics for your outfits. From politics to your cockpits. Tune in, you gotta watch this. Exclusive material for your radio, stereo, pumping high definition. Stop what you doing and listen. We smashing all competition. You better jump on this wave. Somebody pass me a mic, man. I got something to say.
Well, guys, you know I got something to say, man. And through this quarterback competition that's going on in Cleveland at these OTAs, and Todd Monken made it abundantly clear that this is going to be a quarterback competition. Things just right now are just starting to take shape. You know, we had a lot of things that a lot of people have said through these OTAs, but this goes to show that this Cleveland insiders and the Cleveland media, they just don't like Shedeur Sanders. Because if you notice, every show that they produce in the morning on ESPN Cleveland, they always talk about Deshaun Watson now. They always giving Deshaun Watson his credit on how he's came back, you know, from the Achilles injury, how he has set out 2 years and how he's looking right now in this Todd Monken offense that has been displayed in OTAs. Really giving him all the praise. You never once heard any Cleveland media insider talk about Shedeur Sanders on how Shedeur Sanders has looked. The only one that's really advocating for Shedeur Sanders is the head coach, Todd Monken, by letting people know that, you know, he has taken leaps and bounds and strides to look impressive in these OTAs. But everything is just surrounded around Deshaun Watson now. When we're talking about the quarterback, it's always giving praise to Deshaun Watson. It's always these insiders and the Cleveland media talking about, well, Deshaun Watson, he looks the best out of all the quarterbacks. He is the front runner. We heard the bombshell report Mary Kay put out there, and we saw how that picked up traction and everybody ran with it. We heard the likes of Shady McCoy talking about he has the inside track of people over in the Cleveland organization, teammates and ex-players that he's dealt with, saying Deshaun Watson is going to be the starter. But everything is like seeming like they're undermining everything that Shedeur Sanders is doing. Like Shedeur Sanders, basically, like Coach Brom said in the sit down with Garrett Bush, that, you know, Shedeur got to get it out the mud. And that's what he's doing. He's getting everything out the mud. He don't want nothing handed to him. He's ready for all the competition, but we just want it to be a fair competition. But the media and insiders never talk about the good things that Shedeur Sanders is doing in OTAs. Everything is about Deshaun Watson when it comes to this quarterback stuff. And they never really give Shedeur his just dues. So this is just evidence now. Everything is clear. So they got to stay on one side. Tony Grossi does not like Shedeur Sanders because the latest, thing that Tony Grossi has said, it will let you know that going back to last year when it was supposed to be an open quarterback competition between Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, you heard what Tony Grossi said, that Dylan Gabriel is far superior than Shedeur Sanders. Never giving Shedeur Sanders his credit. That's why Tony Grossi was confronted by Shedeur Sanders after the Carolina game in preseason, and Shedeur said, "Why can you never say anything good about me?" He never says anything good about Shedeur. He always teeter-totters. He never comes out and gives Shedeur his credit. It's always like an underhanded back slap. And, it's in a sense where he don't want to give Shedeur Sanders no credit at all. So his latest thing that he said on ESPN Cleveland with the Tony Rizzo show further lets people know that Tony Grossi does not like Shedeur Sanders. I don't care what quarterback Shedeur Sanders got to compete against. It's always the other guy. It's never Shedeur Sanders. It's never giving Shedeur Sanders his credit where his credit is due. And it's becoming a sad situation with these insiders now that they all suddenly have fell in love with Deshaun Watson by trying to tear down Shedeur Sanders and bigging Deshaun Watson up. So let's take a listen to what Tony Grossi had to say on the Tony Rizzo show today. Let's take a listen.
Is it fair to say Watson is in the lead right now?
Well, he's in my lead. Yeah. I mean, the coach isn't going to come out and say it, but we that go out there whenever we can and see with our own eyes, he's definitely in the lead. The reason I wouldn't bet anything though is the injury factor. It's like a cloud over Watson's head. His career has been so star-crossed that you get to the point where he's ready to make that breakthrough in a Cleveland uniform, and
Tony, what people are saying is he looks as good as he ever has in a Cleveland uniform. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, I think I said that yesterday. He has looked like that since this offseason program began. He gave us a little taste in December when he practiced for 3 weeks, those of us who were out there, and you could see he was getting, his legs back, his arm looked fine. Man, it's been 18 months since he played a competitive game. So all his previous injuries have not only healed, but all that muscle memory has kind of gone away too. If he was creating bad habits because of his initial shoulder injuries, I mean, those are gone. So yeah, I think he looks at this point better than we've seen him in a Cleveland uniform, but there's a long way to go to be able to say that,
Now, you heard what Tony Grossi had to say. And this is what I will say. Y'all heard it right there. Everything's about Deshaun Watson. It's no credit to Shedeur Sanders on how Shedeur Sanders looks in OTAs. And you heard what Tony Grossi said. In my eyes, the coach is not going to say it, but in my eyes, Deshaun is the leader. Well, it's already been put out there that there's no leader in the ball club. And that's why I said certain members of the Cleveland insiders and the media, they do not like Shedeur Sanders. And that's abundantly clear, guys. And that's okay. But they're making this all about Deshaun Watson on how they are starting to really glaze Deshaun Watson. After a year or two ago, they turned their back on Deshaun Watson. Because this situation is dealing around Shedeur Sanders. And this is letting you guys know that they don't mess with Shedeur Sanders. They really don't even want Shedeur Sanders on this Cleveland Browns team. Because they will give Shedeur Sanders no credit whatsoever. So, guys, you gotta, like I said, keep your eyes open, keep your ears clear, because they telling you right in your face that regardless of what it seems, they don't want Shedeur Sanders. Even if Todd Monken comes out and says Shedeur Sanders is the leader of the pack, they're going to try to spin it, and they won't give Shedeur his credit. But this is an open quarterback competition. We're going to play it to the end, but that just lets you know that the disrespect of Shedeur Sanders is on full display. And it's abundantly clear, like I stated, that certain insiders could care less for Shedeur Sanders. I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh, yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.